It's Aileen, it's shabby.ie live in store. It's the 26th of January 2018 and it is Facebook Friday. So thank you for joining me. There's a few people joining now. As you join me, can you please let me know you're there? Give me a like and a love, maybe at the same time. That spreads the love across the screen. Tell me where you are so I know who I'm talking to. So say hi, it's Sheila from, I don't know, Dublin. Let me know where you are and say hello, please. Also down the end of the screen, don't forget there's a share button. Let others know that we're live in case they would like to join us. So today we are going to discuss top coats when you are painting your furniture, painting and staining your furniture. And the reason I'm doing that is because a customer came in yesterday and they went straight over to the vintage chalk paints, as they always do. And they immediately bought the paint that they want. And they then were looking around. And I thought, you're looking for something. What is it you need? Can I help you? And she asked me for wax for sealing the paint. So I said, oh, sorry, I don't sell wax. And she was like, oh, well, what do you seal your chalk paint with then? So I went into the little story of years ago when I was painting an awful lot of furniture from home. And I gave myself very bad tennis elbow from waxing furniture because I was doing at least 2 pieces a week. So I thought that was the end of my little business. I wasn't going to be able to continue restyling furniture. And that was the first reason that I don't use it. And the second reason is because it doesn't wear as well as I want a finish to wear. And all the pieces, bar one, in my house that I did in chalk paint with a wax finish, all had to be redone. So that's why I don't wax. Personally, I know some of you still do. The only time I wax now is if I'm painting fabric. If I paint the seat of a chair that's fabric seat in paint, I'll wax over that. Or I'll wax a very beautiful old piece in the corner that I know isn't going to get any wear and tear. But I seal my chalk paint with top coat, and I also use top coats over milk paint, even though it doesn't need sealing, and over stains. So let's discuss this, okay? Let me know you're there. I see there's a few. You haven't said hello. Give me a like and love. Tell me who you are and where you are, and thank you for joining me. Okay, so the first thing I told this lady yesterday when she bought her chalk paint was that I use this, which is flat out flat top coat. This, sorry now, I know this comes up back the front. If there are any of you who know how to reset this, that the writing doesn't come up back the front, please let me know. I know there is a setting, but I don't know how to do it yet. But this is the general finishes flat out flat. And this is for over your chalk paint. Any chalk paint you like. You can also use it over the milk paint if you want a really low luster finish. This is going to give you the finish of a wax. Okay? Very, very low luster. But it's much, much easier to use than wax and much harder wearing. But also then it comes in flat, satin, and we also stock it in gloss, right? So I'm going to show you how to use that today because I use it over chalk paints, I use it over stains, and I also sometimes use it over milk paint if I want it to be a little bit more durable. So have a look down here. I'm going to move this, and there's the little table that I have stained, and I'm going to try not to let that fall. I'm going to use the top coat in front of you now. Now, I never use my top coat from the pot. I always decant it into a little yogurt pot like this. Because if you have any dust, dirt, any paint on your brush, you have contaminated your whole pot of high performance top coat, and you don't want to do that. So I'm just going to use my foam brush. This is my choice of applicator. You can also use this. This is a pad for larger areas for applying top coat. Some people absolutely love this. I've only a few left, and we can't get these anymore for some reason, but there's a few on the website if you want them. But I love a foam brush because it holds a lot of product and it keeps the varnish very flat, which is the idea of a top coat. You don't want to be going back and forth because A, it dries very quickly and it'll only start to bubble on you. Now, you will see with any varnishes that you buy, including this one, they tell you to stir thoroughly before you start, and also to stir during. That's a very important instruction, because it means that you are mixing it again. Some of the ingredients are heavier in a varnish and they fall to the bottom. And if you don't stir it, you're not getting the sheen that you want. So it's very important to stir, not shake. Shake creates bubbles. You don't want that. So the application of a top coat is very simple. You just keep your foam brush, very flat, all the way across like this. And you'll see where it's going on. So try and do your straight line, flick out over the edge so that you don't get a build up at the edge like this, and go all the way across. Now this is translucent. If it seems very purpley when you're putting it on, just spread it out a little bit more. You could have a little bit too much on. That's it. Then I get some more on. And I'm flicking out over the edge, flick out, and then go this way and flick out over the edge. So I'm not getting any build up on the edge like this. And this dries so quickly. Like you could have 3 coats of this done in a day, 3 or 4 even. Look at my splashes there. Put that down. Now, and just spread it. The foam brush holds a lot of product. If you have too much on, just take it off on a kitchen roll and then just spread out any excess. And that is how you do a top coat. How easy is that? And I say you get to choose your sheen. If you want a really low sheen, you choose the flat out flat or the flat. The flat gives you a buffed wax look. So those of you who use wax or are using it at the moment, you know when 24 hours later, you buff your wax to get a nice little sheen? Well, that's what the flat gives you. But the flat out flat just gives you really a very dull finish, if that's the look that you want. I tell you what's very popular now over the stains is the gloss, because it gives a French polished look. French polish has a high sheen. I'm spreading this out. There's little grooves here at the front of this table, and we're just spreading it out into those grooves. I don't want it gathering too much, so I spread it out even with my fingers. Okay, so I'm just going to let that dry, and that is the first coat. And that's going to seal the stain, and it's going to give the most beautiful finish. Tracy, what is the top coat brand? I use General Finishes. Hope you can see that there. Again, I'm sorry, the writing is back to front. I do not know how to set my Facebook Live, that just doesn't come up. But it's General Finishes High Performance Top Coat. And it's a water-based, and it comes in all these different finishes. It's on shabby.ie if you live in Ireland. Of course, it's on General Finishes if you live in the States. And there's plenty of stockists all over the country in Ireland and in England. So, any more questions, please let me know. I'm going to do it over chalk paint now, just to show you. I'm putting that aside. I will go back in and do another couple of coats of that over the stain, and then I will give it a little rub with a 220 sanding pad, and that'll make sure it feels like glass afterwards. But I'm going to show it to you again here, and this is a chalk painted mirror. I've just painted this morning. Have a look at this. Hope you can see that there. I've just painted that this morning, and I painted that in the paint that this woman came in for yesterday. It's these. Do you remember this fantastic one? It also comes in 300 ml, But this is the one I painted the bench outside. Do you remember a few weeks ago? And it was in the deep pink. It is incredible how far this paint spreads, and it's a beautiful chalk paint. Hi Kerry, hi Tracy, say hello, let me know where you are, please. And don't forget to share and tell, there's a button down the bottom saying share. Let everybody know you're here so they can join in. Now, I'm going to do exactly the same as I did on the table, but on this mirror, okay? So I'm going to get my high performance top coat. This is flat I'm using, so it's going to give this chalk paint a little bit of a sheen, not much, okay? These foam brushes hold a lot of product, so be aware of that. So I'm just going to go straight down from here all the way down in one go, like this. Now, as with all chalk paints, you'll see the colour slightly deepen as you put moisture on it. But that's absolutely perfect. And I'm going to go across the top like this. And this is going to seal this chalk paint in a much easier way than wax. The other thing is, on a mirror like this, because it has a flat top, this is going to have dust land on it. But with a high performance top coat, it is very easy just to clean it. So you get yourself a damp cloth and wipe across the high performance top coat. I'm going to go over the moulding here. I added that moulding myself. There was nothing at the top of the mirror and I thought it needed something. So I've just put the moulding on it, and I might highlight it with a bit of silver rub and buff in a minute. But for now I'm just sealing the chalk paint on that as well. Dabbing that in a bit. Okay, all the way across, and I'm going to go up the top as well. This is the bit here that, as I say, it will attract dust and dirt, but with the high performance top coat you just wash it off because it protects your paint. Okay, and that is how easy it is to put the high performance top coat. Don't overwork it because it dries very quickly. Who else is on there? Rosie, hi, delighted to find your page. Hi Rosie, thanks a million for joining me, I really appreciate it. So, as I say, it's much easier than doing wax, and of course it's much more durable. So long, even strokes like this. I hope, can you see what I'm doing? Please let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. Long, even strokes. You do not need to be going back and forth because, as I say, it dries very quickly. Now, I should have changed my brush from when I was on the stain, because as you can see, there's a little bit of stain on here and it's gone into the agar pot. This is what I was saying about never using the varnish from your pot. Always decant it. So if you do contaminate this, it's okay. It's only a little bit, you can throw it out. But you don't want to be doing that with your full pot of high performance top coat. Now, there you go. Now, to reiterate what I said, high performance top coat is a varnish. Okay, and it comes in lots of different sheens. You do not shake it, you stir it. Hi Mags, is top coat the same as lacquer? Well, now in Ireland, a lacquer is slightly stronger, and it's something that we don't have access to as, I'm going to turn this up because I'm bending down to you, access to as amateur refinishers. I had some work done in my kitchen and I had the man spray the little breakfast bar top in lacquer, but it was something he had to spray in his workshop. So this top coat is the strongest that you will get, and it is an award-winning top coat, and I'll give you a perfect example of how I know it works. I did a small little table, I have it over there actually, hold on and I'll go and get it for you. And my little girl, I did decoupage on the top of it, as you can see here. Okay, see, I did a napkin decoupage on the top of this little table, and my little girl decided to prop open the patio door with it, and she left it outside, and it was outside for 2 days and it never stopped draining for those 2 days, right? So the water all lodged on this, because as you can see there's a lip here, And I thought, well, that's the end of my table, and it's certainly the end of my decoupage, because that's only a napkin. But it was covered in 4 coats of this. And it was done over a month, which means it had time to cure. Are you aware that all paints and varnishes take a full 28 days to cure? And that means get hard enough. Okay. Hi, Kerry. Glad you made it. So I brought it in, shooshed the water off it. I brought it in and put it in the conservatory. It dried out and it's absolutely perfect. I mean, 2 days in the rain. Look. And that's because of this high performance top coat. So I'm very, very impressed with this, but you must let it cure and yet do a few coats of it. Now, I've showed you how to do that. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry. I've told you that it comes in 2 sizes, by the way, 473 and 946. Oh, I want to tell you one more thing about it. All the ingredients in the gloss, the flat, the satin are exactly the same bar one ingredient. It's called the dulling agent. Hi, Mary. Thank you. You love this. Thank you. Give me some likes and loves. All the ingredients are the same bar one, and it's the dulling agent. So in the gloss, there is no dulling agent because they want a high sheen. Then General Finishes put in dulling agent into the satin, into the flat to dull it down. That is the heaviest ingredient and falls to the bottom of the tin, settling. This is why you need to stir it before you use it and during, not shake, stir, to make sure you get the sheen that you want. Otherwise, you're getting a higher sheen than you expect if you're buying the flat. So stir, don't shake. Is that the opposite of 007? I think so. So just remember that. Now, I want to show you also, it's not just for over stains and over chalk paint, right? I'm going to spread this out a little bit. I also, because I do some restyling on furniture, not much, but I do a little bit in the shop now. People expect a really professional finish from me. So I use General Finishes milk paint, which is a self-sealing paint. But I put stir, don't shake. Yes, Kerry, stir, don't shake. So the milk paint is self-sealing. I'm going to show you a mirror back here that I've done in it. But putting the high performance top coat over gives it an even stronger finish, especially for high wear areas. Also on the darker colours, like I'm about to show you here, it enhances the colour and stops any fingerprints, because on dark colours you can get fingerprints kind of lodging on your paint as you touch it. You get none of that with the high performance top coat, and then you can just wipe them off. So have a look at this mirror. This is done in coastal blue milk paint, which is a really popular navy. I have added this is a moulding. This is one of my I'll show it to you. It's one of my latex bendable mouldings. Here it is here. Here it is here in the packet. It comes in 4 feet. So obviously one did that whole thing. But you can see it here. It's absolutely fantastic. It looks like it's part of it. And all I did with that is, because that's a big old pine mirror, so I painted it up in the coastal blue. And then this edge here, I added gold rub and buff. I presume you know what that is. And then I stuck on my moulding, which I had painted the blue as well, and I just highlighted that in the gold rub and buff. What have we got? Any questions? Brilliant. Thanks a million, Aileen. Love the moles. Hi, Kerry. Silly to ask. There's no silly question. But I painted chairs and the gloss looked yellow. Okay, Rosie, that's not the high performance top coat or the varnish. That is, the varnish is dragging through the tannins that is underneath your paint. Hi, Aileen, I used the top coat in satin, and I'm now thinking I should have, as it was nicer without the sheen. Is there a proper way to do it? Yes. Okay, I'm going to answer those 2 questions now. Getting back to the first one, varnish doesn't yellow your paint. It's yellowing what's coming through underneath. So if you have very dark piece of furniture, and it normally happens with mid-century mahoganies, and you want to paint it white, you need to seal it in first with, I'm going to show you the product, with a Zinsser bin, and you can get this all over the world, right? This product here, this is a shellac based primer, and that will seal in all the nasties that you don't even realize are there, and it will stop what's called bleeding. So that varnish, all that's happening is it dragged through the bleed from underneath. It wasn't actually the varnish. So seal your paint first, seal your furniture first with a shellac based primer. There's one from General Finishes and there's one from Zinsser. Now, Sheila, let me use that one again. Yes, okay. I often do this. So although it comes, the high performance top coat comes in gloss, satin, flat. The gloss is the strongest, right? Because the dulling agent lessens the strength of the product, right? That's why I put a few coats on as well. It's still very strong, but the gloss is the strongest, right? So when I'm painting something in the shop, right, I put the gloss finish on it first. But obviously I don't want a gloss finish on everything. In fact, I only want a gloss finish on stain. I do not want gloss on furniture. So then I go in with my flat or my flat out flat. So Sheila, to answer your question, if you put a satin top coat on and then you think, I don't like it, it has too much of a sheen on it, just go back in with your flat or your flat out flat. And the last coat or a couple of coats that you put on will be the sheen that you get. Do you understand? That will be the sheen. So it will hide the satin underneath. So don't worry about that at all. I do that a lot. As I say, I put the very strong one on first, which is the gloss, and then I'll go over it with the flat or the semi-flat to give me the look that I want. Now, while I'm talking to you, I just want to show you this little table. Look, this is just about dry already. See this? That high performance top coat? That's nearly dry already, and that's what? 5 or 6 minutes. So it dries incredibly quick, and then you can go back in and give it another couple of coats. Now, have we any more questions, please, about top coats? As I say, I much prefer it over chalk paint now because it's much, much easier to use. But you can still have your look of chalk paint. It doesn't mean you have to have a sheen. But yes, be careful on mid-century dark pieces that you seal in any nasties first, especially over white paints when you're using your high performance, because it can drag through the nasties. Thank you so much. I will do that. Okay, any more questions for me on top coat? I think I've pretty much covered everything. The stain, I know there's going to be some questions about this now. The stain I put on that table a minute ago is espresso. This is a water-based, the darkest colour that we have. It's beautiful, and it's really, really easy to use. What would you like to see from me next week? We have covered top coats, but I have a little table here, and I think you might be interested in this. I bet some of you have come across this. Do you see this? See the watermark on there? So I bet a lot of you have come across tables like this and you don't know what to do with them if you want to keep. Can I use this varnish over? Oh, great question. Okay, no. No, you can't. Sorry, you have to get the wax off first. Just like, hi Libby, 3 coats of flat on black, and it's streaky looking. Okay, I'll go through that in a second. Can I use this varnish over a wax surface? No, and you can't either. I had some waxed furniture that was a disgrace, and I had to repaint it. And I thought, oh, I'll be lazy. I'm just going to see, can I just put an acrylic based paint like the milk paint over it, and will it work? And it doesn't, because your wax is like candle wax. It is creating a barrier between the two products. So no, you need to get that off first, I'm afraid. The same with painting. Flat over lamp-black and a streaky looking. Lib, can I ask you, what did you use to apply it? Did you use a bristle brush? Did you use a foam brush? And did you give it a good stir first? The application is easy, but you really have to do what I said. I'm going to do a little bit of an example here again. You have to do this, right? A flat, 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 a flat, flat, flat. Now, if you see a little bit too much, if it's looking purpley, she's not answered me yet. If it looks a bit purpley, you have a little bit too much on there, because this holds a lot of product. So you need to spread that till it's like water, till you actually cannot see the product, only the fact that it's wet. Do you understand me? Your streakiness might have come from having a little bit too much product in places, because if it's, you can see it's still purpley looking, it will dry streaky. Lib, hi, just use it. Okay, come on back to me, Lib, and let me know what you applied it with, and did you apply it in long, even strokes like this that you then blended in. Okay, any more questions? I just used a sponge. Epic fail. There's no such thing as an epic fail. It is a water-based product. Just get your sandpaper out, give it a scratch up, and only a scratch. You don't even need to get back down to the stain, all right? Give it a bit of a scratch up and go back in with this. The sponge, you just don't have the control on a sponge. I use that when I'm teaching, because they're easy to get and I can cut a million of them in half. But I do tell the girls that use a proper flat applicator, either this or this. But be aware, you can put too much on, so spread it, because it spreads much further than you think. But there's no epic fail. Go back, give it a little scratch up and do it again, and send me photographs by private message and I'll help you sort that out. But don't be afraid. Top coat is easy when everything is scary when you first start, right? It's the same with staining. I was teaching staining at the big upcycling class I did last week, and people are fearful of staining, but there's no need to be. It's only fear of the unknown. Once you try it once or twice, once you make a few epic fails, you don't make that mistake again. Thanks so much. Lots of likes and loves coming in. Have you any more questions before I finish? Oh yes, I was telling you, next week we might do this, will we? Will I show you how to get rid of that? Will we stain it? Yep, too much. Thanks for the advice. Looks awful. Send me a picture, Lib, and I'll help you out with that piece. Hi, Betty. Thank you very much for joining us. You might have to go back to the beginning now after I posted up, because you've missed a lot. If you tell me, please, what you want to know next week. Every Friday, I'm going to go through a product or something, not so much techniques, but products on how to use them. If you want to know maybe how to do this, we could do this next week. Let me know. And I'm going to sign off now, and I'm going to go get a bit of lunch. Thanks very much for joining me on Facebook Friday. I'll come back in. If you missed me live, I'll come back in and I'll answer questions. Thanks, guys. Bye, bye, bye.